be there in order to survive, obviously. But yeah, but it's I think it's good that it's done from the outside, if you know what I mean, because again, there is where the new discovery actually lies, and there is where people are bold enough to go into areas that the mainstream won't dare to go into.
You're exactly right, and you put your finger on it, that it needs people who are on the edge, right?
Yeah.
To actually move forwards with these things. And though in the 17th century, people like Isaac Newton were on the edge. People like myself are on the edge now. People like Robert Bauval are on the edge.
That's right.
And we're sort of moving into areas where sort of angels fear to tread sometimes. But it has to be done, because if nobody does that, everything becomes stagnant. So I've set up this Invisible College, and partly I'm going to share my discoveries with the world. Right? That sounds a bit boastful, but I've been at this for about 40 years, investigating this and that and the other, and I've had some extraordinary experiences myself. But also I want other people to share their experiences and discoveries, and to write papers and to present things. And hopefully together we're going to sort of move on to building a new paradigm. I don't think necessarily that it's going to do it. I'm not stupid enough to think we can do it on our own.
Right.
But it's all part of what's happening in the world today, is we're building a new paradigm that will allow fresh views and vision, which is going to be really important for this coming new age that we're moving into. So that's kind of what I'm going to be talking a bit about at the AV2 conference. The AV2 conference, I'm quite excited to be invited along to that. I mean, I'm not involved in the kind of conspiracy areas that some of the guest speakers are going to be talking about. But I'm interested to hear that people like David Bellamy are going to be there. He's a very eminent botanist, well known as a TV personality over here. And yet he dares to question this anthropogenic global warming. He doesn't. I don't buy the CO2 business.
Me neither.
But it's a convenient method of people. As someone put it to me, if you said that you want to study the life of squirrels in the Ashdown Forest in Sussex, you won't get a grant. But if you say you want to examine the impact of global warming on the life of squirrels in Ashdown Forest,
my God, the grants keep on coming in, don't they? Well, that's because it supports the current agenda, and there is also where I actually see the conspiracy, the hand that is controlling things, that we want to have this put forward now for whatever reason that might be, of course, but you have to follow the money, as they say, as well, in order to understand this.
Well, you have to follow the money, and you also have to follow the wish to limit people's freedoms.
Exactly. There you go.
If it said to you, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to have a car, you'll say, how dare you? I want a car. I have a right to a car. I have a human right to have a car. But if you say, no, you mustn't have a car because that car is polluting the atmosphere, it's causing global warming, and it's going to make polar bears extinct in 30 years' time. How can you answer that? You then say, well, I better get on my bicycle. It becomes an unanswerable ethical dilemma. So you're kind of moving politics.
Well, exactly, and they're putting it. Sorry to cut you off, Adrian, but I think that they're putting it consciously on that particular point as well, because they're making it into an emotional question, or instead of a scientific question where you can kind of debate about this stuff.
Yeah, you're destroying the world for my children and my grandchildren. How dare you?
Exactly.
So we must pass a law to stop you doing this. We must make a law that you're not allowed to have a car. And this is what's happening. As I say, I'm not into the political sphere, only peripherally, where it impacts on me personally. But I've kind of kept out of that because I feel I need to keep my powder dry for other things. But I do think that what's happening in the AV2 conference is very relevant, and it's worth hearing what people have to say about these matters. Particularly people like Ian Crane. I've been to one of his lectures before, and it was actually quite illuminating. He actually predicted, I was there last year in Glastonbury, he gave a lecture, and he actually predicted this financial banking collapse before it happened. He said, this is what they're going to do. And they're going to make you all poor, so you'll all be slaves.
And here we are, in a way.
Here we are.
Yeah. Really interesting.
Isn't it just, yeah?
So, I mean, I think overall then it's going to be a great, first of all, definitely to see you speak at the AV2 conference, and I can give out the website for that again for people who want to head over there and check out some of the other speakers as well, and tickets and so forth. avii.co.uk or thealternativeview.co.uk. But then again, I want you also to mention your Invisible College, how people will be able to go to the website, what they can do there a little bit briefly before we round things off here for the first hour.
Well, the website, I launched it last week. We've already got some members have joined. I think we've got about 14 have signed up without knowing any more about it than just what I've said.
Right.
Basically, you can come along, you can join. It only costs £10 a year, which is nothing. But we need to charge something, otherwise we can't keep the thing going. And then when they get in, there's various faculties which I'm building. I'm going to be adding material to them gradually in different fields like ancient history and self-development and prophecy and different areas that people could investigate and contribute to, because this isn't a one-way street, as I said before. And then we have a forum where people can come along and they can discuss ideas with each other in the forum. And gradually, there's going to be videos. There are a couple of videos on there already. There's one that I did an interview with J.J. Hurtak. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, definitely. A very interesting
He's
guy.
Of Enoch. Well, he actually visited my house, and I sat him down and I did an interview with him. So I've put that up there, discussing the Keys of Enoch and how he came to write it.
Wonderful.
Now, I've actually read that book, so I think it's the first time he's been interviewed by someone who's actually read the book.
That's a good idea.
Helps,
Yeah,
because it's a difficult book to read. And I've got another video there of a fire ceremony that was I attended in Belize. A Mayan elder, Carlos Barrios, did a fire ceremony in an ancient Mayan temple.
Yeah.
And a group of us were standing around, and that was fascinating. So I filmed it, and I've put the film up there with a commentary. So that's there, people can watch that. And there will be other things added gradually over time. But this is very much a work in progress. It's quite embryonic at present. But I want people to come along and join and help us do it, because I can't do it all myself.
Exactly. And the idea here then, I guess, is to that people should also then contribute material. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the exchange of ideas, as it were.
Yes. And the material, I'm not going to just put up any old rubbish and nonsense. Everything will be peer reviewed. So there should be quality material that's coming through. Because I don't know, you've probably had quite a few dealings, but there's plenty of people with some crazy ideas. And there's a difference between crazy and being on the edge.
Well, there is, absolutely.
Yeah. So I try to filter things a bit, but not too much.
Well, exactly. It needs to have a certain set of filters in some cases, especially if you have an idea about what it is that you want to try to achieve. You can't just let anything in there, and you have to have a certain set of rules, as it were. Tell us the website then where people can go to check it out.
Right, it's www.theinvisiblecollege.net. So The Invisible College is all one word. So www.theinvisiblecollege.net. Now, if you go on the internet, you'll find there are a few Invisible College websites around. I'm not the only person to realize that's a great name, but it's the .net is what you want. Theinvisiblecollege.net.
Very good, and we will have these and other links up on redasscreations.com as well, so you can find them easily. And again, the main website, Adrian, I can mention adriangilbert.co.uk, and from there you can find the other links as well, of course. So, Adrian, let's take a little break here. We're going to listen to some music, and then we'll be back and talk more in our members section. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing on the thread where we left off here. So thank you very much for this segment, Adrian. Stay with us, and we'll be right back. Go to adriangilbert.co.uk for more information, articles, research, and do take a look at some of the book titles. We are going to continue talking about the opening of the Stargate in our members section with Adrian Gilbert. This is about the connection between the star constellation of Orion, the Mount of Olives, and the Great Pyramid, and the opening of the south and north gates, and how we are in a time period right now in terms of precession and prophecy, where potential new possibilities related to the consciousness and awareness of people is opening up. We'll also discuss the documentary film Signs in the Sky and much more. But we'll begin to talk about the account of the clairvoyant that was sharing information with Adrian about what could possibly be behind Gantenbrink's door, the door at the end of the shaft inside the Great Pyramid. So don't miss this fascinating part 2. Our website is redicecreations.com. Head on over there to find out how to access our members area and tune in. We'll talk more after this.